Many American Sign Language classes began deaf history with France because ASL is most similar to French Sign Language, but the teachers of deaf people that we know of were actually in Spain. A monk named Fray Melchor de Yebra was the first person to document a method of communication between deaf people or between deaf and hearing people. He wanted deaf people to have access to salvation, so he published a book of standard hand shapes representing the letters of the Spanish alphabet. He suggested using fingerspelling for confessional and for deaf people to make their wishes known on their deathbeds. Juan Fernández Navarrete was born in Logroño, Spain in 1526. He became ill and went deaf when he was very young, but learned to communicate by drawing what he wanted or needed with a piece of charcoal. His parents noticed his talents and sent him to a monastery at Estella to learn better how to make art. His teacher was Fray Vicente de Santo Domingo. After learning at the monastery for a while, he went to Italy to study more art. He became famous for his artwork and was known as El Mudo, or the Mute. Just a few years later, a wealthy family named the Velascos had 4 deaf children, 2 sons and 2 daughters. The daughters were sent to separate convents, but the sons, Francisco and Pedro, were sent together to the monastery of San Salvador de Oña, where they were taught by Pedro Ponce de León. The Velascos and Ponce de León worked together to make a system of communication that was a mixture of monastic sign, which the monks used in the monastery to keep their vow of silence, and home signs, which the Velascos developed as they grew up. Ponce de León taught them to read and write, as expected, but he also taught them to speak. Many people believed that speech was the ultimate representation of intelligence, so the Velascos were recognized as the first educated deaf people for centuries. We now know that sign language, whether it's American Sign Language or Spanish Sign Language, is just as expressive as spoken language. And, of course, reading and writing show intelligence as well. So we can look back and recognize Navarrete, or El Mudo, as the first educated deaf person. As more deaf people become educated, the demand for specialized schools grew, and many were built across the country. The students and teachers who came to these schools combined their home signs and monastic signs in the same way the Velascos did with Ponce de León, and this created the first lengua de signos española, the ancestor of the sign language used in Spain today. After many ups and downs, with Spanish Sign Language being banned in classrooms after the Milan Congress of 1880, the language is becoming more widespread and therefore more widely accepted. And on April 1, 2003, the European Council urged its member states to recognize sign language officially as the main tool towards the complete social integration of European deaf people. Spain also passed a law in 2007 recognizing all forms of sign language currently in use in Spain, such as in Catalonia and Aragon, further integrating sign language into the fabric of Spanish culture.